Well, the power of V3, I really do view it as a game changer. It's one of those things where right now the nonprofit sector is still pretty dependent upon the grant cycle. And again, I look at our communities. I travel quite a bit. When I go to small towns and I see main streets boarded up, when I go to domestic violence shelters and I see women who've come out of an abusive situation and they're taking control of their lives, but they have no credit history, and oftentimes no any kind of money in the bank. So I look at all this and it's like charity's good up to a point. We're a service kind of sector. And I'm interested in more that liberation, that next stage. How do you set people up to become independent? As James Brown said, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. And I very much internalize that here at the kitchen. But one of the missing things for the nonprofit sector is access to capital. And that's what I'm interested in, is how can we help politicians, but again, the larger community evolve past this kind of bifurcated lens of business runs the economy while charity does good deeds, and see us both as the kind of yin and yang of our society, that both sides bring economic and social well-being. So what we're looking for is again, a generation of politicians who stop and say, I'd either historically have to go after a kind of a smokestack or a box store to create economic growth in our community. Neither one of those are as viable as they were. Either they're not accessible or they recognize that too much of the money that goes through those systems leaves town and never comes back. Social enterprise, on the other hand, opened up this door to the idea of businesses that purposely put their money back in over and over and over again. Now, it's understandable that many politicians don't see that yet because it hasn't gone to a scale beyond the kind of small little catering company like we have, that people think, oh, that's cute, but at what point do we actually manage the entire food system for the schools? That's what I'm interested in. But to get there, and we will stay a novelty until we elect a generation of politicians who understand social enterprise and who want it, and who recognize that it needs to be incentivized and capitalized like any business would in America. So I think it's a game changer because it liberates us as a sector. It doesn't preclude the existence of historic, joyful, traditional charity, but it loosens the grip and frees, it liberates, if you will, intellectually, spiritually, socially, economically, a big and growing hunk of the sector that really wants to get involved in this liberation movement.